Hello everyone, welcome back to another art time lapse. Today I am doing a gouache piece and it's gonna be a food theme. I'm using my Stonehenge hot water press paper and using my Holbein acrylic gouache. Using plenty of water diluted down just to kind of mark down the shadows and where everything's gonna be. This piece is a homage to a dish that I really enjoy eating and just reminisce over my trip in Japan a couple years ago. It's been a while since I've traveled, but there is this dish in Japan. I think it's maybe like a breakfast dish. Somebody can comment below and help me out, but essentially it's like this hot rice dish with like this fresh gooey egg that sits on top with some like onions and such, and like you kind of mix it all together and it's just oh so yummy. Even talking about it makes me salivate right now. So anyway, so that is the inspiration for this piece, like a steaming bowl of rice with some gooey egg on top. And then I also want to make the piece a little bit playful, so I'm gonna add some Studio Ghibli themed characters you might recognize, including the blue Totoro, as well as I think it's like a chicken from Spirited Away, the one that you will see at the hot, I guess in the hot spring spa that's inside the big bathhouse that you see in Spirited Away. I always think he's really cute, and there's a number of them and they just kind of dawdle around and seem a little indifferent but like in their own little world. So I thought it would be really adorable and kind of like sings to the idea of this is like a egg rice dish and there's a chicken, so chicken and the egg, which came first. I thought it was really playful. So anyways, that is the idea behind the piece. I really love trying new foods, but like I think my metabolism has definitely slowed down since I got a little bit older, so I try to paint instead and use some of those ideas to help with my painting inspiration. So anyways, back to painting. So you can see that for the gouache piece I'm using plenty of water to do the background, and now I'm adding less water in and doing more concentrated pieces for the detail, adding in maybe the shadows of the rice, and maybe there's some onions that they will put in. I thought it would just be a lot of fun. I actually don't know the purpose of this piece. Like a lot of times I think when I do a piece, people are like, oh, are you gonna make a print out of it, like a keychain or sticker? But like really I'm just enjoying the process. I have no idea what I'm gonna do with the piece, and I think it's actually really nice to do that, to do art for the sake of art and not worry about what you're gonna do with it, because like I think it is partly stress reliever and like supposed to be an enjoyable process. So try not to make it too complicated in my head. And while I'm at it, if you like the content on this channel, it'll really mean a lot if you would consider giving this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. It'll really help a lot. And for those of you who are joining me back for another art time lapse and joining me on my artist journey, thank you so much for your time and for your patience. And as I kind of self-discover and figure out what I'm doing with my artwork, I love showing my process because I think it's nice to see how a piece of artwork surfaces from like a blank piece of paper to the final product. A lot of times when I go to artist alley and conventions, a lot of people may woo and wow over all the different artists' beautiful pieces, but like there is a lot of hard work and time that's put into it, and you don't really see that when you're at the convention because you see the final product, the hard work that people have put through. But like I feel like so much of the story of the art piece come from the process of how it was put together, and we don't really get that many opportunities as artists to advocate for ourselves and tell our story. So this YouTube channel is a way for me to share my story, share my process, and hopefully it'll be inspiring for you as well. If you're a new artist, to know that like we all start from somewhere. You look back at some of my videos that were a little bit older, you can see that like I think my art style has developed and changed, and also like I would say my technique has improved, and a lot of that comes with practice. Not every single piece comes out perfect, and I think it's something that I've grown to be more comfortable with. Not painting necessarily always with a purpose of intention of doing something with the piece. And that's, I think, the best way to exert your imagination and like practice new skills and jump outside the box, because you never know where you'll end up. So here you can see I am using this ombre brown to do the steam coming off the top of the bowl. I think ideally this piece I would do it on a bigger piece of paper so that the steam can come out a little bit further and be dissipated a little bit more. Right now I feel everything is really cluttered and like pushed together because of the limitations of this 8x8 inch piece of paper. Again, like, it's poor planning, but I think I'm still learning something from this process. So you can see that the chicken from Spirited Away is surfacing and coming out nicely. I'm just adding in highlights and details for the eyes, and you can see the blue Totoro that's sitting on the side. I love the idea of the egg being cracked on top of the chicken's head and it's just kind of like melting off, and he's really enjoying it because he's almost like a spa for him. I can't imagine sitting in a giant bowl of rice with an egg melting on top of me. That's like a really odd thought, but like I think seeing this painting come to life with that idea, it feels very warm and like cozy. But yeah, here I'm just adding some diluted ombre brown kind of to show where the shadows are, so that creates a little bit more dimension. So I try to think about like the light is probably shining in from the top center portion, so that's why I'm going to add a little bit of shadow on the sides. And of course I need to add a little bit of shadow right underneath the egg where the egg meets the chicken, so it creates a little bit more 3D-ness to the piece. I always love pieces when there's multiple dimensions, layers of colors, and I love how colors play with each other. Sometimes to get a perfect brown color, you maybe use blue or magentas or other colors to get different shades, and I think that makes painting just so magical. Here I'm just adding in some like whole pieces grains of rice and then filling in the onions. I must say I really enjoy painting this piece. I have no reservations about like if it's a waste of time or anything like that. That's not even something I'm considering. It's just so much fun to paint. So usually after I wrap up my gouache, I will use my oil pencils and also my Sakura brand Jelly Roll archival ink. Here you can see I'm using my oil pencils to add highlights on top of gouache, and gouache is a matte medium when it dries, so it's easy for you to add on something like that or details. Just gonna show you how I'm doing that. And then of course I'm gonna use my jelly roll, Sakura jelly roll. I'm using the width 8. I know there's different like width size or thicknesses for this pen now. They come out with like 5, 8, 10 and so forth. So this is the 8. I think it's the medium one in case you guys are curious. And then I'm just adding in a little bit of texture to the rim of the bowl, and I'm almost wrapped up for this piece. Well, I hope you enjoy this kind of foodie inspired piece. I hope it brings joy to you to kind of watch me paint and draw through this process. I certainly did enjoy it. And that's it. That's the final piece. Thank you so much for joining me on this video, and I'll see you next time in another art time lapse. Take care and stay creative, everyone.